Good morning, I'm Nathan Edwards.
And I'm Alex King. Here's 3 quick stories to get your day started. The solar eclipse is just a week and a half away, and Huber Heights is handing out free glasses. You can stop by the city building during normal business hours to get your pair.
Yeah, tons of free glasses out and about.
I can't believe it's so close.
It is going to be great. A lot of kids have school off, my kid included, and should be fun. Yeah.
You guys gonna go all outside together?
Yeah, I was gonna go hang out in the backyard because we got a good shot right there.
You can lay on the trampoline.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
They'll be like, "What's happening, guys?" I'm like, okay.
So
It's gonna be a lot to explain to a 3-year-old, but here we go. And calling all artists, downtown Dayton's looking for submissions for its Art in the City event in August. Show off your talents now until May 13th, and they're looking for people with a variety of backgrounds, whether it be performance art or visual art.
Your talent would be impressions.
That's going to get me really far. I'm sure they're looking for some guy just to spout off random things on the corner.
Yes, they are. It's a talent. It really is.
They already have those downtown.
Fair enough.
Anyways.
Spicy Chicken McNuggets are back at McDonald's. You can get them now until April 21st at all Dayton area locations.
I don't like spicy things. Do you like spicy? McNuggets, I mean. Have you had these?
No.
No, you don't eat McDonald's.
Yeah, I don't eat McDonald's.
Come on.
I mean, I probably have had their regular chicken nuggets a long time ago, but
yeah.
I mean, I do like some spicy nugs.
Well, you have them, and then Wendy's also does their spicy nugs occasionally. So,
yeah.
Though my kid accidentally got a spicy nug in his hot or Happy Meal thingy for
no.
Wendy's.
Too spicy for him?
Oh, yeah. He was like, "What is this? This hurts my mouth." And I go, "Oh, Wendy." Anyways.
Should have sued him.
No.
You only have a few more weeks to file your taxes, but that won't stop scammers from trying to steal your information.
The IRS is warning filers to keep their information secure to avoid any issues. Melina Brown spoke with officials on what to look out for.
The IRS Criminal Investigation Unit says they spend the majority of their time investigating tax crimes that include tax fraud and schemes. This year, they're really focusing on schemes that make U.S. taxpayers victims. I spoke with agents from the IRS Cincinnati field office. They tell me just last year they started nearly 1,500 tax crime investigation. Investigators found $5.5 billion in tax fraud, and through these investigations, they were able to convict 655 people. The crimes include preparing a false return and aggravated identity theft.
Whether you're filing your tax return yourself or using a return preparer, it's important to ensure that there's accurate information is being reported on your tax return.
Agent Joseph Stansfield with the IRS Cincinnati field office says if you choose to have someone prepare your taxes for you, you should pay attention to signs they may not be legit. That includes avoiding someone who says they can get you a, quote, much larger return, or someone who doesn't have a preparer tax identification number. Now, if you find yourself caught up in a tax scheme, we're going to discuss how you can get help coming up next.
Here's what we're looking at this morning. The rain has cleared the area. It was, boy, a really, how do I want to put this? A quiet afternoon for the most part for me, but I know there was parts of the Miami Valley, in particular Darke in Miami, that actually got put under a severe thunderstorm warning. That being said, as we got into the evening and right around the time of 9 p.m., absolutely poured at my place for about 20-30 minutes, and then that was basically it. As for today, cloudy skies still continue. It is likely to be a cloudy start. Do think we'll break up the clouds as we start getting into the afternoon. That should allow us a window to get into the 50s, because otherwise it's going to be a lot of the day in the 40s. It may actually be a touch breezy as well. On the roads this morning, we are looking at a quiet morning commute. Thus far, no major issues out on the interstates.
The ACLU is now suing Ohio over a law banning puberty blockers and hormone therapy for transgender minors. The group filed the lawsuit on behalf of 2 families. The suit claims they have kids who are at risk of losing critical medical care. They want a judge to strike down the law before it takes effect next month.
A man from Kentucky is facing charges for this crash you see behind me. It led to the dramatic rescue of a semi-truck driver. The crash happened in Louisville earlier this month, and witnesses say they saw Trevor Brenham speeding on the bridge and weaving through traffic before he hit a stalled car in the right lane. That's when the 33-year-old lost control and crossed into oncoming traffic before crashing into the semi. First responders rescued the semi-truck driver as the truck dangled from the Clark Memorial Bridge. 2 other people were also hurt. Branham is charged with 4 counts of wanton endangerment and operating on a suspended license.
A scary moment last night. A fire broke out on a house on North Jersey Street. Dayton fire crews responded to the 100 block just after 8 p.m. The home is boarded up, but investigators say there were people inside.
We actually had 3 people on the porch roof. 1 had already jumped when I got here. 2 were being assisted down by some Dayton police officers and a couple bystanders that had grabbed a extension ladder from a neighbor's house and were helping them out. Our main concern at this moment is just protecting the houses next door and making sure this fire just stays to this house.
No one was hurt. Chief Judge says they need to call for an emergency demolition.
We now know the name of the woman who was shot and killed in Yellow Springs nearly 2 weeks ago. Police found Connie Vang lying at her front door on South High Street. They say someone shot her in the face. Her son and daughter were home at the time. Her son tells police he heard his mother answer the door and talking to someone before the gunshot, but he didn't see who fired it. Vang's daughter tried to revive her with CPR, but she was already dead.
Springboro police are asking for your help this morning. They posted this video up on Facebook. Now it shows the suspects stealing 2 vehicles, you can see right here, yet early yesterday morning. Now police say they believe both vehicles were unlocked with the keys inside. Now they are now reminding people, lock up your vehicles and remove all belongings inside. If you ever see something, say something. Don't hesitate to call police if something doesn't feel right. If you have any information or security camera video from Tuesday morning, call police right away. The number's on your screen right now, 937-748-0611.
Children who have access to books are more successful in school and beyond. That's why Dayton 24/7 Now is partnering with Reading is Fundamental and our parent company, Sinclair, for Sinclair Cares, supporting children's literacy. Scan this QR code to join our virtual book drive. Just $4 can put a new book into the hands of a child. Donate today.
Our time right now is 5:07. Don't forget to get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
I'm Kayla Gaskins outside the Supreme Court. Coming up, justices are hearing arguments in the first abortion access case since they overturned Roe v. Wade.
Well, people are shaking. This is an unthinkable and unspeakable tragedy.
Search and recovery continuing this morning following the catastrophic bridge collapse in Baltimore. This leaving many questioning how a tragic accident like this can happen. Coming up, a closer look at the moments leading up to the crash.
You're watching Your Day.
There are 14,000 cars a day. Thank God that this didn't happen during the day.
6 people are now presumed dead following the catastrophic bridge collapse in Baltimore. Early yesterday morning, a cargo ship slammed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge, tearing down its center span. According to Maryland's governor, a Mayday call notified authorities before the cargo ship crashed into the bridge. This let authorities stop traffic from going on the bridge, a move many are saying saved lives. 8 people were on the bridge when it collapsed. 2 of them were saved from the water. Now take a closer look at this video on your screen. It shows the moments leading up to the crash, which can give you a better idea of what led up to the incident. You can see in the video the lights on the cargo ship flash twice before the ship hits the bridge. While initial search efforts were hopeful to recover all the people that had fallen in, conditions last night made it unlikely there were any remaining survivors and unsafe to continue extensive search efforts.
The changing conditions out there have made it dangerous for the first responders, the divers in the water. We will still have surface ships out overnight. At 0600 hours tomorrow, we are hoping to put divers in the water and begin a more detailed search to do our very best to recover those 6 missing people.
As you just heard, they're continuing with that search this morning. On your screen now, video from a vigil held last night at Baltimore's mayor and other city leaders. The mayor told people gathered at the church vigil they need a lot of prayer right now. We first brought you this story as breaking news yesterday morning. You can get those alerts sent right to your phone. Just download our Dayton 24/7 Now app, take out your phone and scan the QR code on your screen right now. It'll take you to your app store to download it for free.
Time to do some weather word this morning. We are much more quiet than we were yesterday. Of course, about this time yesterday, it was still pouring outside across portions of our area. That wrapped up right about 6 a.m. and then we got a pretty good lull. Forecast ended up taking pretty good shape. It was very windy, and then we saw rain and even one severe thunderstorm. As we said, it was very unlikely for us to get the instability needed for widespread severe weather, but all it took was just one area to go into an air mass that was just slightly more favorable for us to see some stronger wind gusts. Now, meantime for today, partly to mostly cloudy, and by that I mean for the vast majority of the day, it's going to be overcast, but we'll break it up as we get into the evening. Tomorrow, I think, stays dry, but perhaps as we get into early Friday, there is going to be the risk of 1 or 2 showers across the area. It'll be a really weak little boundary that'll move through, but speaking of boundaries, this weekend, it's going to be a lot more active once you get past Friday night. So it does look like it is going to be a brief period of quieter weather. So for today, temperatures low 50s. Tonight, going to be a chilly night as we do fall to around the freezing mark. Tomorrow, again, more sun than clouds, but we do expect there to be a better period as we get into Thursday night into Friday morning where there could be a shower. Now, in terms of the best shower chances, starting on Saturday, continuing through Easter Sunday, and into next week. That does look like a period where it may not rain every hour of every day, but there's going to be the threat of showers. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, here's what we're looking at. Right for now, traffic is fairly quiet across the interstates, as you'd imagine. No incidents to speak of as of right now.
The Supreme Court weighing the biggest abortion case since it overturned Roe v. Wade. National correspondent Kayla Gaskins joins us now with what makes this case so significant.
Demonstrations taking place outside the Supreme Court Tuesday.
Abortion is health care.
As the justices sat inside, hearing oral arguments regarding restricted access to one of the most popular abortion pills, mifepristone, that's now used in roughly 2/3 of all abortions in the U.S.
This is our typical scene for these types of hearings, and I think it's important for everyone to have their voice heard.
Banning the pill is not expected to be on the table.
We are not going to let our personal bodily autonomy, our personal medical decisions be decided by extreme judges.
Conservative lawmakers are asking the High Court to roll back rules the FDA put in place expanding access, such as allowing the pill to be prescribed through telehealth appointments and then mailed to patients. Another issue is the FDA allowing patients to take the pill in the first 10 weeks of pregnancy instead of the originally approved 7 weeks.
which I desperately wanted.
Pro-life activists say these changes endanger women.
Well, this case is about reinstating the original regulations about the abortion pill. So at the very least, it would prevent situations like we've seen of women walking into our clinics, hemorrhaging because no one told them what would happen.
The White House and abortion rights advocates argue those claims are too speculative to have legal sway.
Thinks politicians should keep their mouths shut.
The Biden administration also argues overriding the FDA's judgment to regulate the abortion pill would open a floodgate of other lawsuits targeting controversial medications, including contraception, gender-affirming care drugs, and COVID-19 vaccines.
A decision in this case is expected to come down in June, and it could shake up the 2024 election cycle as Democrats push to make protecting abortion access a key issue up and down the ballot. Reporting outside the Supreme Court, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
Our time right now is 5:17, still to come.
We're just weeks away from the solar eclipse, and that means that sight scams are on the rise when it comes to those eye protectors, or viewers as they're called. I'm Liz Bonus. We're going to tell you how to spot the scam for your sight just ahead.
And looking for a way to combat insomnia? We've got you covered. A look at a recent study on the impact of exercise on sleep next.
You're watching Your Day.
All right, time for pet of the day. And, you know, usually we try and mix up the dogs. Unfortunately, our software this morning was not having it, and it was not letting me in. So we're going to run back Puppers and Wee Man. So, Tracy, your dogs get not only a 2 for Tuesday, but I guess a 2 for Wednesday. just have to deal with it. And to all those who sent in your photos, we'll get them back tomorrow, hopefully. So there's a little bit of an update there. Temperature-wise, going from the 40s into the 50s today. Much cooler environment than it was yesterday. Of course, 2 days ago, we hit 70, so it gives you an idea. We're going to be some 20 degrees colder over a better 48-hour span. Worth pointing out that the clouds will give way to sunshine during the second half of the day. So for all intents and purposes, it'll be a mostly cloudy day overall, but there will be some pockets of sunshine later on. On the roads this morning, if you're traveling, so far it's a quiet morning commute. Haven't had any tie-ups or concerns at this hour. Of course, there still could be a damp spot or two, but by and large, I didn't see that many ponds out there, even despite the fact that we get to get some heavy rain in my neighborhood.
Unexpected facility fees are making routine doctor visits even more expensive, according to a Wall Street Journal analysis. As hospitals increasingly buy smaller medical groups, they're tacking hospital fees onto visits to outpatient centers, increasing the price of standard medical care by hundreds of dollars in some cases. A survey of 2,000 Americans revealed on average, respondents find happiness in small things about 8 times a day, adding up to just under 60 times a week. And this new poll from One Poll and True Lemon found that to improve their mood throughout the day and give themselves something to smile about, respondents made an effort to stay hydrated, eat enough that they avoid getting hangry, and take walks. And it seems to set their day off on the right foot. In fact, many people say as soon as they wake up, 20% look for a glass of water. Well, most folks know they'd be healthier if they ate more plant-based foods, but only a quarter are willing to follow through with that diet. Surveys reveal that Americans' beliefs about eating more plants for health are often at odds with their daily diet choices. From the NASDAQ market site, I'm Jane King. Here's your health.
A warning today as we get closer to the April 8th solar eclipse. Make sure if you're buying glasses to protect your eyes that they offer proper protection. Medical reporter Liz Bonus explains why.
With eye protection in such high demand for this solar eclipse, it's a breeding ground right now, educators say, for scams on your site. When it comes to your eyes and what you'll see on the day of the eclipse, you get one pair and no spare. So in this case, it really is buyer beware.
When it comes to total solar eclipse, even though the sun's going to be mostly blocked, there are still UV rays coming down, and so if you look directly into them, it can damage your retina.
Yao Jin is an associate professor of supply chain management at Miami University. He says counterfeit viewers, as they are appropriately called, are not necessarily easy to spot. Well, it's helpful to look at this ISO stamp and information, which means they do offer proper protection. Mr. Jin says even the certifications on some of them can look like the real thing when they are not.
It's the false sense of security that ultimately really matters.
So in addition to the certification stamp to protect your eyes properly, 2 other things need to be considered: where you buy them and who makes them. For an approved list of both,
the American Astronomical Society has a list of recommended solar eclipse viewers.
In addition to this list, most retail stores pre-certify, and you also lower your risk of getting a counterfeit pair if you buy direct from a manufacturer, as opposed to a third-party seller online.
When it comes to your eye health, it is not worth it to try to save a buck or two, even if you're only going to use the eclipse viewer once.
He says if you must buy from an online marketplace, look for evidence of manufacturer authorization. To find out more about that, you can go online. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
A new study shows that people who exercise regularly sleep better and by a big margin. The study found people who exercised on a regular basis were 55% more likely to be normal sleepers. That means they slept on average between 6 and 9 hours a night. Some U.S. researchers say this new study may provide doctors with a new tool to prescribe to help patients who suffer from insomnia.
The USDA is granting emergency authorization for a drug that could help keep high-risk patients from getting COVID-19. Pemgarda is an antibody infusion for immunocompromised people who aren't likely to have an adequate immune response after vaccination. That includes people who have received stem cell or organ transplants and cancer patients who take medications that suppress the immune system. The drug is given as an infusion in doctors' offices and other health care settings, and you can get it as often as every 3 months. The drug is expected to be available in the next week or 2.
Well, they're not as cute or fluffy as puppies, but manatees are beloved creatures. And today, on Manatee Appreciation Day, we're raising awareness about these gentle sea giants. Manatees are nicknamed sea cows because they spend about 8 hours a day grazing on seagrass. They have no natural enemy, but they are threatened species because of pollution, climate change, and hunting. Now, fun fact, early explorers and sailors thought manatees were mermaids. And here's some adorable pictures from the Cincinnati Zoo, some of their manatees. Now, they recently successfully completed a rehabilitation for these three. So they're back home in Florida. The zoo is a second stage rehabilitation facility, which means they provide food and vet care for manatees until they're strong enough to return to their natural habitat.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there's something about them that's just interesting.
Yeah, I love them. They're like gentle giants.
I was at the Columbus Zoo a couple weeks back, and they have manatees as well, and they're just kind of fun to watch.
So they're a very underrated animal and how cute they are.
Well, there's aren't many places where they exist in the world, so we're lucky here in the U.S.
Absolutely. Our time right now is 5:27. Still to come.
It's tax season, which means scammers are looking to strike. How to protect yourself is next.
Friends and family gathering for a candlelight vigil and balloon release for Justin Smith. Coming up, what his family and friends hope come from the tragic loss.
You're watching Your Day.
Good morning, I'm Nathan Edwards.
And I'm Alex King. Here are three stories to get your day started. This runner just became the first woman to win a sadistic race in Tennessee. The race is designed to make you fail. Participants have to eat undercooked meat, memorize the course map, all without phones or GPS. What is? I'm so confused. The course is the equivalent of climbing up and down Mount Everest twice. She finished it with 100 seconds to spare.
Are they trying to kill these people? Are they trying to kill them? Undercooked. I hate this story. I hate this story.
Awful. Why would you torture yourself like this?
Producer, give us a new story. I hate this story. It makes me feel sick. Ugh. And a woman on TikTok is showing off how she gets 2 cheeseburgers, 4 fries, 2 Big Macs, and a 10-piece McNugget, all for $12. She says all you gotta do is ask for a dinner box when you go to McDonald's. But some commenters point out prices vary by location. Dinner box, interesting. I had no idea this existed. Apparently you can also order like a birthday cake from McDonald's, but I didn't know that either.
Oh.
Yeah, there's all sorts of weird stuff.
Okay.
I don't know, like all these.
I think you should go to McDonald's and order the dinner box and let us know.
And they're probably going to catch on to this and be like, no.
Yeah, they're going to cancel this option, definitely. A sheriff's office in Washington got a bizarre call from a wannabe Sasquatch hunter. The man called because state regulations were unclear about Sasquatch hunts. He wanted to know if it was legal to shoot a Bigfoot and if he'd need a regular hunting license for it.
Is it legal to shoot Bigfoot? I need to know. Got this Bigfoot cooling around my property. Named her Tina.
Anyways, that was weird.
You only have a few more weeks to file your taxes, but that won't stop scammers from trying to steal your information.
The IRS is warning filers to keep their information secure to avoid any issues. Melina Brown spoke with officials on what to look out for.
If you've ever been a victim of a tax crime, you know just how taxing it can be for a person, and that's why the IRS Criminal Investigation Unit is working to crack down on the schemes. The Criminal Investigation Unit of the IRS is responsible for financial crime investigations. They say about 70% of their time and resources go to tax crimes. Investigators want you to be aware of scammers who will pose as a preparer. They could promise to get you a larger refund, and the phony preparer may suggest sending your refund to their account, saying then they'll send you the money. The IRS is also warning you to never sign a blank form, and if you do find yourself in a fraudulent situation, report the crime immediately.
If they are so far out of bounds that you suspect that maybe your return preparer has claimed fraudulent deductions on your tax returns, then we would ask that you please go to our website, irs.gov, where you can find step-by-step instructions on how to report fraud.
Finally, it's essential to protect your personal and financial information. You should never open any suspicious links on emails or texts from someone claiming to be from the IRS. Don't forget the last day to file your return or request an extension is April 15th. Back to you.
Temperatures are significantly cooler this morning by 10 to 15 degrees outside. We do expect it to be a cooler day overall, but especially for the afternoon. Right now we're hanging out at 38 in Dayton, 37 in Troy, 42 in Wilmington. I think if we saw more rain yesterday, at least comparatively, temperatures would be a little bit higher. But because we basically dried things out relatively quickly during the afternoon yesterday and didn't get a whole lot of rain with the cold front, at least, comparatively, it was a relatively cool start to this morning and will be throughout the daytime today. More clouds than sun with temperatures in the low 50s. This is not going to be a picturesque day, but it isn't going to be overall that bad. One thing I have noticed here is just a little bit of a slowdown on the road. So let's go to the road, shall we? And it's on the north side of town. Now, I'm not sure if it's a graphical glitch or we have something going on, but right around State Road 4 over towards maybe a little bit further north. Let's see if we could pull a camera real quick, but that's about it thus far. So right for now, it is moving okay with the exception of that area. Does look like it may just be some slower going traffic, again, southbound on I-75 near Stanley and State Road 4.
Friends and family gathered in Springfield yesterday. They held this candlelight vigil and balloon release for Justin Smith. Police found the 28-year-old's body last Friday after a nearly 2-month search.
May Justin rest in peace so we get justice for Justin!
Justice for Justin! For Justin!
Smith's family last saw him on January 29th, but he made a food delivery from a Tim Hortons in Springfield the next day. His family says they want to know what exactly happened, but the autopsy report is months away.
They said it'll be at least 2 months, at least. So we just, at this point, we just want justice. We have so many questions. Why? Like, what happened? Like, we just want answers. We thank the community for coming together for my brother, gratefully for the searches, for everybody that's helped.
As we learn more, we will keep you updated here on this story on air and online at Dayton247now.com.
The solar eclipse is less than 2 weeks away.
Cities in the path of totality have been preparing for months now, and if you're still skeptical about if it's worth changing your schedule to see, you'll want to hear this.
Jenny Borg shares what a former astronaut had to say about the event.
Gaining cosmic perspective was how former NASA astronaut and Air Force pilot Terry Virts describes the experience of seeing a solar eclipse. Virts has seen 2 eclipses, but only one here on Earth. He says you should get as close to the path of totality as possible for the full experience, even if it's not a sunny day.
It's worth getting in your car and driving a little bit to get, you're going to want every second. It's going to happen very fast. You're going to want every second. Even if it's cloudy, it's still going to go from day to night. It's still going to be an amazing experience.
Virts also says during the eclipse you will be able to see Venus and Jupiter and possibly the comet 12P that's next to Jupiter if you have binoculars. Some businesses like Dorothy Lane Market will be closed for a short amount of time so that their employees can enjoy the eclipse. Multiple schools in the area will be closed all day. We've compiled a list of closures and events in the area under the heading Eclipse 2024 on our website, Dayton247now.com. Back to you.
And the Dayton Fire Department wants you to make sure you are safe while out on the road during the eclipse. The department is giving a presentation on eclipse safety and traffic this morning. It's at City Hall during the Dayton City Commission meeting at 8:30.
NASA is also preparing for the upcoming total solar eclipse. People can see the event across 15 states for up to 4.5 minutes of total darkness. NASA officials say the eclipse gives scientists a unique opportunity to study the Earth, Moon, and the Sun.
One focal point is definitely the sun's atmosphere, or the corona. So this is a very elusive region, and it can be viewed during a solar eclipse in a very special way.
This data will help researchers better understand how solar winds and flares affects life.
A new development in the race to the White House. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. now has a running mate. He tapped Nicole Shanahan to be his potential vice president. Shanahan's personal fortune and influence could help RFK raise money and his campaign. Now, according to the New York Times, the 38-year-old helped produce and fund the campaign ad that ran during the Super Bowl. The California attorney laid out her vision for what a Kennedy-Shanahan White House will focus on.
While Bobby is focused on ending the corporate capture of our regulatory agencies, I am going to assemble the best technologists and scientists in the world, and we will use the latest in AI and computation and examine the health records databases of our nation and those other nations who are also on a quest to solve chronic disease.
Shanahan has a long history of donating to Democratic candidates. She gave $25,000 to President Biden's fundraising committee in 2020. She also maxed out her contributions to Kennedy while he was running in the Democratic primary.
Our time right now is 5:40. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
Prices are rising yet again at the Dollar Tree, but just how much is it going up? We'll explain that and the reason for the change next.
And feeling like Easter's a little early this year? You're not alone. Coming up, how the date is picked and the shocking amount many are expecting to spend on the holiday.
You're watching Your Day.
Well, today's going to be in the 50s, but let's show you how we get there, shall we? Obviously, it is going to be cooler, but I think it's cooler across the board. So even as soon as, let's say, 9 a.m., I think we'll cross over the 40-degree threshold. By the time we get towards 11, it should be in the low to mid 40s, mid to upper 40s from 1 to 3 p.m. And there you see, still going to be upper 40s, perhaps into the evening for some of us. This is we do continue with the clouds. What I end up think happens is during this evening period, there'll be enough sunshine poking through the clouds that some of us should be able to get to the 50-degree mark. But still, compared to 2 days ago where we saw 70 degrees and got there with relative ease, this is definitely going to be a much cooler day overall. So keep in mind, we're not out of maybe the early part of spring quite yet. On the roads this morning, it is fairly quiet.
Dollar Tree is raising the maximum price on store items from $5 to $7. According to the company's CEO, the price increase is due to a wealthier customer base. 3 years ago, the company raised the base price to items to $1.25. And this past June, it set a new cap at $5.
Easter's less than a week away, and consumer spending is expected to top $22 billion. People celebrating are predicted to spend an average of $177. Food's expected to be the highest spending category, followed up by clothing, then gifts. Meanwhile, the price of cocoa surged to an all-time high yesterday. This means you could be paying more for chocolate in stores.
And speaking of Easter, have you been feeling like it's a little early this year? Well, you aren't alone, and if you're looking for someone to blame, try the moon. Unlike Christmas, which always falls on December 25th, Easter's date is actually determined by the moon's phases. The holiday is always the first Sunday after the first full moon on or after the vernal equinox. This year, the vernal equinox occurred a week ago. The first full moon after that date was this past Monday, the 25th. So that means Easter falls on the following Sunday, March 31st.
Had no idea. Very interesting. Our time right now is 5:46. It's almost here. We are less than 2 weeks away from the solar eclipse. Coming up, why many are concerned about their cell service and what officials here in the Buckeye State say makes them feel prepared.
And taking a live look at the scene of that bridge collapse in Baltimore, they're set to resume search and recovery efforts in about 15 minutes for the remaining 6 missing people. We'll keep bringing you the latest as we learn more.
You're watching Your Day.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
right, well, unfortunately, our system decided to take a little bit of a nap there. There we go.
There we go.
So we're talking about why was it windy
Yeah,
yesterday.
it was crazy yesterday.
Yeah, so a couple things. Number one, we want to focus on the three different levels of the atmosphere. You have the jet stream, that's where the planes fly. You have this lower level jet, and then the surface level. Yesterday, what ended up happening is we had these three levels. This one, the middle one, was up to 75 knots. This one was up to 300. In this case, we actually tapped into this middle layer, Alex, and you can see how it dove down. What you ended up doing is pulling in all that energy, and that caused those winds to pick up at the surface up to nearly 50 miles per hour at Springboro at a time yesterday. That's not even including thunderstorms.
Yeah, I mean, I had the windows open and our blinds were just flying.
Yeah, exactly. So for a lot of us, that's one of the reasons why. One thing we didn't do is tap into those upper level winds. If we did, it could have gotten up to 60, 65. That's where you talk about a high wind warning.
Okay, well, we're expecting high winds again today.
I think it'll be a lot more calmer, but a lot more cooler.
Okay, sounds good.
We're less than 2 weeks away from the total eclipse of the sun, and people all across Ohio are preparing for crowds expected to flock to the city to see this rare event. But some are concerned the extra people in town could put a strain on cell phone service that day. Bob Jones spoke with officials in Akron and shares more.
Whether the sun shines on April 8th isn't known yet, just one of many uncertainties surrounding what the total eclipse day could be like for Northeast Ohio. Another question people are buzzing about, will cell phones work with a crush of visitors coming? Or will cell towers be overwhelmed? How much chatter is there about how the eclipse could impact cell phone service, first of all?
So there's a lot of chatter, there's a lot of worry.
But Verizon spokesperson Jeff Q doesn't think people should worry. First off, the few minutes of sudden darkness won't impact phones. Secondly, Q says Verizon engineers feel very good about the network holding up on Eclipse Day.
Our engineers are on it. They've been on it for months as far as preparing for that day and making sure that the network is going to hold up just fine.
Q says 20 new cell sites in Northeast Ohio's path of totality have been added since last year. And he pointed out that cell phone service is already frequently put to the test for large events, such as Guardians and Cavs games.
And it holds up really, really well.
Still, Akron Police Captain David Laughlin, who oversees the Akron Safety Forces Communication Center, says the department has to prepare for the possibility of cell phone outages and advises people what to do if they need to call 911 but can't use their cell phones.
Obviously get themselves to safety, get themselves out of that situation, make sure they're protected, try to get to an area where there's densely populated so there can be support in that way. Someone else might be able to connect.
Laughlin isn't worried about the 911 system crashing, but says callers may need to be patient. The center typically takes 1,000 calls a day, but that number could grow on the day of the eclipse with more people in the area.
Use 911 appropriately. Don't call if it's not an emergency. If it's something that can wait until later in the day or the next day, wait.
While Verizon feels confident phones will work normally, Q says people can switch to Wi-Fi if they have issues.
If there is an outage at any point, you can go to a public Wi-Fi spot, switch your phone to Wi-Fi, and then you can text and call based on that too.
Laughlin understands many of us are connected to our phones, but hopes people enjoy the moment and not worry about their cells.
We're here to celebrate, a once-in-a-lifetime event. Celebrate it with each other.
Our time right now is 5:52. Krispy Kreme is teaming up with a popular fast food chain. Coming up, when you'll see the popular breakfast item hitting McDonald's menus.
You're watching Your Day.
Well, this morning it is a much more quiet start to your AM, a little bit more cloudy, but we'll deal with the clouds if it doesn't come with the rain, at least in my mind. Now, for today, a mix of sun and clouds will give way to some partial clearing. Tomorrow, we're probably going to be a little bit on the cooler side. Let's back things up just a touch, and you can see that 7 a.m. temperature either side of the freezing mark. So again, much cooler during the daytime, or at least during the morning. As we get into Thursday night, I think there's going to be a window for us to actually start talking about maybe some rain chances. Now, a lot of this will happen whether it's after dark or sometime around the overnight period into Friday. There you see during the daytime Friday, we should be okay. And from that point on, it's a race to just how warm we could get. I think mid to upper 60s are possible. So it certainly will be a mild day for Friday, but then we start talking about the weekend where not only is it going to be warm, but we're going to have better rain chances, in particular Saturday through Tuesday. I think that's the time period of most concern for rain. It may not rain every hour of every day, but there is going to be showers. On the roads this morning, it's so far so quiet.
Krispy Kreme donuts are coming to McDonald's. 3 types of donuts will go on sale at the fast food restaurants starting later this year. They're original glazed, chocolate iced with sprinkles, and chocolate iced cream filled. The addition of Krispy Kreme to the breakfast menu started as a test at 160 restaurants in Kentucky. A phased rollout begins later this year. The donuts will be available nationwide at participating restaurants by the end of 2026. They can be bought individually or in a pack of 6 starting at breakfast. They'll continue selling until they run out. And I'm kind of amped up because at some point they're going to make like a breakfast sandwich with the Krispy Kreme donuts.
I just had that thought. Okay, would you go McDouble with the Krispy Kreme donut, or would you want like egg and ham?
No, you got to go with like the McGriddle, but do the donuts instead.
Yeah. Like a breakfast sandwich.
Either way, I'm just going to say, give me the box of Krispy Kreme donuts. I'm a happy boy. You can keep your McGriddle, whatever, I don't know, donut.
The McCream, McCrispy Kreme. That's
our time right now. We're going to have the product test that name.
5:57 still to come.
It's tax filing season, which means scammers are ready to strike. Stay tuned for how to keep yourself safe.
The ACLU now suing Ohio over a law banning puberty blockers for transgender minors. Coming up, the deadline they're fighting and why they say the law puts kids at risk.
You're watching Your Day. Good morning, I'm Nathan Edwards.
And I'm Alex King. Here's 3 quick stories to get your day started. The solar eclipse is just a week and a half away, and Huber Heights is handing out free glasses. You can stop by the city building during normal business hours to get your pair.
This is great, and you know what? There have been a lot of communities doing this, and it's been nice because, you know, you can order them online, but not everybody can go that route.
Exactly. Yeah, this is a nice, easy option for you, and we don't have much time left, so.
I ordered some yesterday.
Oh, you ordered some more for your family?
Yeah.
Because you only had 2, right?
Yeah, I want to make sure my parents had some, and then make sure everybody in our family had some.
That's nice. Look at you.
And calling all artists, downtown Dayton is looking for submissions for its Art in the City event in August. Show off your talents now until May 13th.
I want to see you do this right now.
I about got a Charlie horse doing that. That was not good.
I was nervous you were going to hurt yourself.
Why? Because I'm old? Is that what you're saying right there? I mean, that's usually not.
You are fairly flexible.
I'm not as flexible that way as I am this way. Anyways, I'm not a dancer.
Okay. Anyway, spicy chicken nuggets, McNuggets, are back at McDonald's. You can get them now until April 21st at all Dayton area locations.
Was ranch the best dipping sauce for the spicy nugs, or like something else?
Probably. Yeah, I would think so.
It'd probably be too hot for me. I'm a little wuss.
I feel like the spicy nugs are not even spicy, so.
That's because you like fire in your mouth. I watched you eat a ghost pepper, not flinch.
Not
or no, Carolina Reaper. And you're just like, this ain't bad. Meanwhile, Nick is snot and tears running down his face. It's like,
Yeah, I have a hole in my stomach now. It's fine.
It's okay. It's okay. We're all good. We're all good.
You only have a few more weeks to file your taxes, but that won't stop scammers from trying to steal your information.
The IRS is warning filers to keep their information secure to avoid any issues. Melina Brown spoke with officials on what to look out for.
The IRS Criminal Investigation Unit says they spend the majority of their time investigating tax crimes that include fraud and schemes. This year, they're really focusing on schemes that make U.S. taxpayers victims. I spoke with agents from the IRS Cincinnati field office. They tell me just last year, they started nearly 1,500 tax crime investigations. The investigators found $5.5 billion in tax fraud, and through these investigations, they were able to convict 655 people. The crimes include preparing a false return and aggravated identity theft.
Whether you're filing your tax return yourself or using a return preparer, it's important to ensure that there's accurate information is being reported on your tax return.
Agent Joseph Stansfield with the IRS Cincinnati field office says if you choose to have someone else prepare your taxes for you, pay attention to signs that they may not be legit. That includes avoiding someone who says they can get you, quote, a much larger return, or someone who doesn't have a preparer tax identification number. Now, if you find yourself caught up in a tax scheme, we're going to discuss how you can get help coming up in 30 minutes.
Well, you want to talk about a cooler morning than this time 24 hours ago. Today is going to be cooler pretty much across the board, not necessarily because we're talking about well below average temperatures. We're going to go from well above average to, well, I would say average-ish, maybe just slightly below it. But again, 10 to 15 degrees temperature drop. That puts us mid to upper 30s this morning. If you're planning out your day, temperatures low 50s. We'll call it partly to mostly cloudy, but the emphasis will be on mostly cloudy, especially early on. We do expect it to be, again, one of those days where we get a little bit of clearing. Tomorrow, the exact opposite. The clouds will actually filter in second half of the day. Could actually see some showers overnight Thursday into Friday. We'll touch on those, plus talk about a weekend where, unfortunately, it may be mild, but it'll also be very much so on the wetter side. On the roads this morning, so far, so quiet. No issues as you head out the door.
The ACLU is now suing Ohio over a law banning puberty blockers and hormone therapy for transgender minors. The group filed the lawsuit on behalf of 2 families. Now, the suit claims they have kids who are at risk of losing critical medical care. They want a judge to strike down the law before it takes effect next month.
We now know the name of the woman who was shot and killed in Yellow Springs nearly 2 weeks ago. Police found Connie Vang lying at her front door on South High Street. They say someone shot her in the face. Her son and daughter were home at the time. Her son tells police he heard his mother answer the door and talking to someone before the gunshot, but he didn't see who fired it. Vang's daughter tried to revive her with CPR, but she was already dead.
A scary moment last night. A fire broke out in a house on North Jersey Street. Dayton fire crews responded to the 100 block just after 8 p.m. The home is boarded up, but investigators say there were people inside.
We actually had 3 people on the porch roof. One had already jumped when I got here. 2 were being assisted down by some Dayton police officers and a couple bystanders that had grabbed a extension ladder from a neighbor's house and were helping them out. Our main concern at this moment is just protecting the houses next door and making sure this fire just stays to this house.
Now, no one was hurt. Chief Judge says they may need to call for an emergency demolition.
Springboro police are asking for your help this morning. They posted this video on Facebook. It shows suspects stealing 2 vehicles early yesterday morning. Police say they believe both vehicles were unlocked and with the keys inside. Now they're reminding people to lock up your vehicles and remove all belongings inside. And if you ever see something, say something. Don't hesitate to call police if something doesn't feel right. If you have any information or security camera video from Tuesday morning, call police right away. The number is on your screen right now. It's 937-748-0611.
Children who have access to books are more successful in school and beyond. That's why Dayton 24/7 Now is partnering with Reading is Fundamental and our parent company Sinclair for Sinclair Care, supporting children's literacy. Scan this QR code to join our virtual book drive. Just $4. You can put a new book into the hands of a child. Donate today.
Our time right now is 6:06. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
A Kentucky man now facing charges in connection to that scary crash involving a semi on a Louisville bridge. What witnesses say he did and the charges he's facing now.
Well, people are shaking. This is an unthinkable and unspeakable tragedy.
Search and recovery resuming soon for the 6 presumed dead victims following the catastrophic bridge collapse in Baltimore. This leaving many questions on how a tragic accident like this can happen. Coming up, a closer look at the moments leading up to the crash.
You're watching Your Day.
Well, compared to yesterday, it is very much so a quiet morning. The low has pulled out. Part of the East Coast is talking about some heavier rainfall as well. So it wasn't just us that got at least some decent rain. Now, I'm going to turn your attention to what's upcoming, because I do think it's important that we focus not only on today, but also in towards the weekend in particular, because it is Easter weekend. I know a lot of the kids are on spring break and probably a lot of us thinking of travel. Well, for today, not bad travel conditions, just kind of cool. Temperatures will be around 50. Let's focus in on tomorrow, starting out near 30. So if you have any early plans for tomorrow, jacket weather. As we get into the latter stages of the day, here we are about 5-6 p.m. Really don't expect much in the way of rain. However, overnight Thursday and into Friday, that's where there will likely be the chance of a couple of showers. So while I expect a lot of the daytime, especially early Thursday, to be sunny, the second half will turn more cloudy ahead of that little wave. Friday itself should be quiet during the day itself, but it's also going to be pretty mild with temperatures somewhere in the low to mid 60s. On the roads this morning, quiet morning commute thus far. No major issues as you head out the door.
A man from Kentucky is facing charges for this crash you see behind me. It led to the dramatic rescue of a semi-truck driver. The crash happened in Louisville earlier this month. Witnesses say they saw Trevor Branham speeding on the bridge and weaving through traffic before he hit a stalled car in the right lane. That's when the 33-year-old lost control and crossed into oncoming traffic before crashing into the semi. First responders rescued the semi-truck driver as the truck dangled from the Clark Memorial Bridge. 2 other people were also hurt. Branham is charged with 4 counts of wanton endangerment and operating on a suspended license.
Our time right now is 6:13. A Dayton area bank hiring an investment banker. Coming up, what inspired LCNB's recent move?
You're watching Your Day.
14,000 cars a day. Thank God that this didn't happen during the day.
6 people are now presumed dead following the catastrophic bridge collapse in Baltimore. Early yesterday morning, a cargo ship slammed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge, tearing down its center span. And according to Maryland's governor, a Mayday call notified authorities before the cargo ship crashed into the bridge. This led authorities stop traffic from going on the bridge, a move many are saying saved lives. 8 people were on the bridge when it collapsed. 2 of them were saved from the water. Now take a closer look at this video on your screen. It shows the moments leading up to the crash, which can give you a better idea of what may have caused the incident. You can see in the video the lights on the cargo ship flash twice before the ship hits the bridge. While initial search efforts were hopeful to recover all the people that had fallen in, conditions last night made it unlikely there were any remaining survivors and unsafe to continue extensive search efforts.
The changing conditions out there have made it dangerous for the first responders, the divers in the water. We will still have surface ships out overnight. At 0600 hours tomorrow, we are hoping to put divers in the water and begin a more detailed search to do our very best to recover those 6 missing people.
As you just heard, they are resuming that search soon. On your screen now, video from a vigil held last night by Baltimore's mayor and other city leaders. The mayor told people gathered at the church vigil that a lot of prayer is needed right now.
So as you head out the door this morning, it is a much cooler environment, but we're really not dealing with any type of heavy duty weather. One thing that we will continue to see is those clouds from time to time. Thursday actually going to be a lot more sun than clouds, but beginning Thursday night into Friday, we will have some chances of what I would call very light showers. This is a weak little pulse moves through the atmosphere. Speaking of pulses, we'll have several of them, including this wave moving in potentially overnight Friday into Saturday morning. Another wave that will arrive somewhere around Sunday into Monday, and then further waves Tuesday. Now, that's not to say that every single wave is going to hit us with the same push of wet weather. In fact, some of these may be a lot weaker substantially than others. Today, we're not getting any waves. Instead, we're just getting cool weather. Temperatures low 50s, not particularly that cold for this time of year, but just slightly below average. Meanwhile, tonight, 31 as we turn clear and also quite cool. Tomorrow's temperatures should be in the mid 50s. It will be sunny early, becoming breezy and cloudy during the second half of the day. And then from there, again, we do have that chance of showers for overnight Thursday into Friday. Seems like it won't affect Friday during the daytime, but then the weekend it's mild, but really just kind of an unsettled pattern for us over that entire 4-day stretch. On the roads this morning, so far so quiet as you begin your morning commute.
Topping this morning's Dayton Business Journal headlines, a Greater Dayton company was now hired as an investment banker. The Lebanon-based LCNB Corporation made the move after a proposal was made back in December to explore a sale of the company. LCNB is Dayton's 9th largest bank, according to DBJ Research, with local deposits of $1.3 billion. To read more about this story and others like it, head to Dayton247now.com, click on the news tab, and select Dayton Business Journal.
Our time right now is 6:19. Feeling like Easter is a little early this year? You're not alone. Coming up, how the date is picked and the shocking amount many are expected to spend on the holiday.
You're watching Your Day.
Time for Pet of the Day here on your day, where of course we celebrate pets. And today we're bringing back these two, Puppers and Wee Man. Part of the reason is, unfortunately, our software this morning wasn't allowing me to see all your photos. Boo. It's one of my favorite parts of the morning, of course. But alas, don't worry, we'll bring back more dogs or more cats, whatever animal I find my fancy for tomorrow. It is a 2 for Thursday, so we'll try and bring 2 pets for you to double up. Now, as for today, temperatures near 50 degrees. We're pointing out we will see the clouds give way to sunshine. May take until the evening for us to see that sun. So by and large, we're going to call it partly to mostly cloudy, but there could be some sunshine, especially later on. One thing that the clear skies will do is cool us off for tomorrow morning. We'll probably start tomorrow about 10 degrees cooler than today. On the roads this morning, so far so quiet. No major incidents on the roadways. Not too bad outside either when it comes to yesterday where we had the wet roads. Today, I don't think it is even that bad.
Easter's less than a week away, and consumer spending is expected to top $22 billion. Now, people celebrating are predicted to spend an average of $177. Food is expected to be the highest expenditure, followed by clothing, then gifts. Meanwhile, the price of cocoa surged to an all-time high yesterday. This means you could be paying more for chocolate in stores.
And speaking of Easter, have you been feeling like it's a little early this year? Well, you aren't alone, and if you're looking for someone to blame, try the moon. Unlike Christmas, which always falls on December 25th, Easter's date is actually determined by the moon's phases. The holiday is always the first Sunday after the first full moon on or after the vernal equinox. This year, the vernal equinox occurred a week ago. The first full moon after that date was this past Monday, the 25th. So that means Easter falls on the following Sunday, March 31st.
Here's a look at today's poll question. It's National Joe Day, so we want to know, how do you take your morning brew? Get your answers in, and coming up at 6:50, we'll share our answers and take a look at what you had to say.
Our time right now is 6:25. Friends and family gathering for a candlelight vigil for a Springfield man that went missing in January. Coming up, what his family and friends hope can come from this tragic loss.
But first, here's Gina Gannon with America's Steals and Deals.
The following segment is sponsored by Naki.
So I'm always looking for ways to whiten my teeth that aren't making them overly sensitive and aren't terribly expensive. And now I can do it in the comfort of my own home, thanks to the Mint Whitening Kit. Guys, this is so cool. This is a way to whiten your teeth with natural ingredients. So say goodbye to those expensive treatments and the treatments that actually make your teeth super sensitive. This is powered by natural ingredients. It's really cool, actually. So you're gonna use the White Max on your teeth. You're just gonna brush that on. Then you're gonna hit this button right here, and this is the violet light. This is what's going to help to accelerate that whitening. And then from there, you're going to apply your enamel boost, which is again getting in there, helping repair that enamel, helping to soothe your teeth and gums. It's amazing. You're going to leave that on for 10 minutes. So I love that I can watch my favorite movie and use this, and that I get 3 times whitening in just 7 treatments. You get 75 treatments with this. It's so fantastic. Then you're gonna complete the system with the color correcting toothpaste from Mint here. So it's a way to correct, protect, and whiten your teeth all in one. And I'm thrilled that we have something that I can do at home that's professional grade. That's gonna take me no time at all. You can get this home today for 53% off. Go to asadeals.com.
Good morning, I'm Nathan Edwards.
And I'm Alex King. Here are 3 stories to get your day started. A woman on TikTok is showing off how she gets 2 cheeseburgers, 4 fries, 2 Big Macs, and a 10-piece chicken McNugget, all for $12. She says all you have to do is ask for a dinner box when you go to McDonald's, but some commentators are pointing out that prices vary by location.
Yeah, it seems like it's too good to be true. I feel like some of these things on TikTok, they like tell you about, and like
She looks like she's like a McDonald's rep.
Yeah, okay.
She's like a McDonald's influencer. She probably...
The conspiracy theories are pouring in now. The truth will come out. The sheriff's office in Washington got a bizarre call from a wannabe Sasquatch hunter, Sam Squatch. The man called because state regulators were unclear about Sasquatch hunts. We wanted to know if it was legal to shoot a Bigfoot and if he'd need a regular hunting license for it.
I just have no words for these.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie,
stories.
I've got a couple relatives that this probably would be on the phone. They're back, can't we? Oh, hey there.
Same.
They're back, hey there, you got some Sam Squatch we can shoot? You know? Oh, geez. I'm telling you. And that's a very weird looking Sasquatch, by the way.
That's terrifying.
Very
That's
feminine.
terrifying. Oh my goodness. Okay. And back by popular demand, yep, Burt's Bees is re-releasing their collab with Hidden Valley. Oh no, why? Buffalo, celery, carrots, and ranch all in a lip balm. You can pre-order these life-changing products on April 1st, and don't worry, it's not an April Fool's joke. We've actually tried these flavors.
The ranch was god
The ranch
awful.
was disgusting.
It was so nasty.
It
Like,
was
why
like
would you
just
want that on your
putting
lips?
straight garlic on your lips.
It was bad. Yeah. Hard pass for me.
You only have a few more weeks to file your taxes, but that won't stop scammers from trying to steal your information.
The IRS is warning filers to keep their information secure to avoid any issues. Melina Brown spoke with officials on what to look out for.
If you've ever been a victim of a tax crime, you know just how taxing it can be for a person, and that's why the IRS Criminal Investigation Unit is working to crack down on the schemes. The Criminal Investigation Unit of the IRS is responsible for financial crime investigations. They say 70% of their time and resources go to tax crimes. Investigators want you to be aware of scammers who will pose as a preparer. They could promise to get you a larger refund, and the phony preparer may also suggest sending your refund to their account and saying they'll then send you the money. The IRS is also warning you to never sign a blank form. If you do find yourself in a fraudulent situation, report the crime immediately.
If they are so far out of bounds that you suspect that maybe your return preparer has claimed fraudulent deductions on your tax returns, then we would ask that you please go to our website, irs.gov, where you can find step-by-step instructions on how to report fraud.
Finally, it's essential to protect your personal and financial information. Don't open any suspicious links or emails or texts from someone claiming to be from the IRS. And don't forget, your last day to file your return or request for an extension is April 15th. Back to you.
Well, we do expect today to be relatively quiet, but also cool. Let's take a look at the radar and satellite picture where, again, it is quiet considering yesterday we did have all that rain. Right for now, it's just all about the cloud cover that still remains over the area. And it is a relatively low cloud deck at times. So you can't really see it. No, actually, you can see it on my computer. It's a little bit difficult with the with the way that the sharpness is, but you can actually see very much so the clouds here. Here's the good news about today. It's going to be cool, but it's going to be relatively dry. We won't continue to see dry weather all week. In fact, it's going to turn very much so unsettled for the next few days outside. We are going to be looking at a quiet morning commute as well this morning. So far, it has been, well, not affected by the weather. So let's go to that morning commute where, again, things looking good on the interstate.
Friends and family gathered in Springfield yesterday. They held a candlelight vigil and balloon release for Justin Smith. Police found the 28-year-old's body last Friday after a nearly 2-month search.
May Justin rest in peace so we get justice for Justin!
Justice for Justin! For Justin!
Smith's family last saw him on January 29th, but he made a food delivery from a Tim Hortons in Springfield the next day. His family says they want to know what exactly happened, but the autopsy report is months away.
They said it'll be at least 2 months, at least. So at this point, we just want justice. We have so many questions. Why? Like, what happened? Like, we just want answers. We thank the community for coming together for my brother. Gratefully for the searches, for everybody that's helped.
As we learn more, we will keep you updated on this story here on air and online at Dayton247now.com.
The solar eclipse is less than 2 weeks away.
Cities in the path of totality have been preparing for months now. And if you're still skeptical about if it's worth it, changing your schedule to see, you want to hear this.
Jenna Lee Borg shares what a former astronaut had to say about the event.
Gaining cosmic perspective was how former NASA astronaut and Air Force pilot Terry Virts describes the experience of seeing a solar eclipse. Virts has seen 2 eclipses, but only one here on Earth. He says you should get as close to the path of totality as possible for the full experience, even if it's not a sunny day.
It's worth getting in your car and driving a little bit to get, you're going to want every second. It's going to happen very fast. You're going to want every second. Even if it's cloudy, it's still going to go from day to night. It's still going to be an amazing experience.
Virts also says during the eclipse you will be able to see Venus and Jupiter and possibly the comet 12P that's next to Jupiter if you have binoculars. Some businesses like Dorothy Lane Market will be closed for a short amount of time so that their employees can enjoy the eclipse. Multiple schools in the area will be closed all day. We've compiled a list of closures and events in the area under the heading Eclipse 2024 on our website, Dayton247now.com. Back to you.
The Dayton Fire Department wants to make sure you're safe while you're out on the road during the eclipse. The department is giving a presentation on eclipse safety and traffic this morning. It's at City Hall during the Dayton City Commission meeting at 8:30.
NASA is also preparing for the upcoming total solar eclipse. People can see the event across 15 states for up to 4.5 minutes of total darkness. NASA officials say the eclipse gives scientists a unique opportunity to study the Earth, moon, and the sun.
One focal point is definitely the sun's atmosphere, or the corona. So this is a very elusive region, and it can be viewed during a solar eclipse in a very special way.
This data will help researchers better understand how solar winds and flares affects life.
This is going to be fun.
So excited.
Our time right now is 6:37. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has announced his pick for VP. I'm Dee Dee Gatton with more on why his campaign has the Biden team concerned.
Search efforts continue soon for the 6 remaining people in the catastrophic bridge collapse in Baltimore. We now know the NTSB is planning on boarding the ship that caused it later today. We have the latest on the recovery efforts as soon as we learn more.
You're watching Your Day.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Bluebonnets are the belle of the ball in Texas these days. The bluebonnet is the state flower and usually blooms from late March to early April. They grow fine on their own. However, they're found along major highways and roads because of beautification programs started in the 1930s. And in central New York, a different scene where these seagulls are, quite literally, having a pretty chill time in the snow.
Look, yesterday it was absolutely windy here in the Miami Valley, and it got pretty quick out there.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll show you how we got there, Nathan. So first things first, let's explain. We've got the upper level jet, lower level jet, and the surface. We actually got into the lower level jet, which was up to 75 knots or 86 miles per hour. So that was what we call screaming in the weather community. That one got down to the surface. As it does, it hits friction, and so it doesn't quite get all the way up to that. But what we did get is the stronger winds down from that lower level jet.
Yeah, and I actually had my power surge for a moment yesterday as the power picked up on that wind.
Yeah, exactly. Now, here's the thing. It wasn't necessarily severe. How we tap into the severe level winds is we get into this upper level jet. That comes down to the surface. That's exactly how we get a lot of those summertime thunderstorms that do get 80-mile-an-hour winds. And somewhat, that's a way to explain how a derecho forms when those form in summer, too.
It's kind of like if the wind was going down a skiing hill.
Yeah, exactly.
There
you got it.
I figured it out.
Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. officially announcing his running mate. Recent polls show him with double-digit support. The National Desk's Dee Gatton shares why his candidacy is drawing the attention of Democrats.
The next Vice President of the United States of America, Nicole Shanahan. Thank you all.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announcing that California-based attorney Nicole Shanahan will be his vice presidential running mate.
I've asked Nicole to use the platform of the vice presidency to speak for all, not just young people, but all the invisible, voiceless Americans who feel let down by our government.
Shanahan, who was previously married to a Google co-founder, has been one of the largest donors to Kennedy's campaign.
These are two of my political convictions I hold today: to serve peace and to help those in poverty.
While Kennedy is running a long-shot campaign, he's currently polling higher than any third-party candidate since Ross Perot in 1992, and this is catching Democrats' attention.
Take the money and run, 'cause you found out that it wasn't hard.
The Democratic National Committee has put together a team to focus on independent and third-party candidates in an attempt to dissuade voters from supporting them. Those voters, they fear, could pull votes from Biden and help Trump get elected in November.
These third-party candidates are a huge problem, and there's a number of them. If you look at RFK Jr., it's the name recognition issue. There are still states in this country, obviously, I mean, Georgia is one of them, I will name, where the Kennedy name is beloved.
But the rest of RFK Jr.'s family members have publicly denounced his campaign, saying it's perilous for the country. His younger sister Carrie posting this photo on X this month with the caption, "President Biden, you make the world better." Now that the ticket is set, Kennedy's effort to get on the ballot in all 50 states continues. So far, the only state to have confirmed him on the ballot is Utah, and he may have enough signatures at this point to qualify in 8 states. I'm Dee Gatton reporting.
Our time right now is 6:45. Digital producer Max waiting in the wings. Your Facebook poll question coming up in just a couple minutes.
And here is a live look over the Miami Valley. It's calm out there now, but will it last? Coming up next, got to look at your forecast.
You're watching Your Day.
This morning it's quiet outside, but we do have some more wet weather on its way over the next few days. So again, we are going to see those showers moving in time for the weekend. But for right now, just the oranges moving across the area. So here's what it looks like this morning. Cloudy skies giving way to perhaps maybe an isolated shower or two for Thursday night. This particular model not having it as much as our other one in terms of that overnight to Thursday into Friday time period, where both of them have us getting rain is not just Saturday, but potentially into Sunday, although Sunday may be a little bit of a quieter day for Easter Sunday. Monday into Tuesday, though, more showers are likely, and that could actually even continue into Wednesday. In terms of today, it's cool, but it's dry, and eventually the sun comes out. First part of tomorrow is going to be sunny. Second part will turn much more cloudy. And again, tomorrow night into Friday, wave number 1 of showers. More waves move in for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So could be an unsettled pattern for early next week.
All right, digital producer Max standing by. Max, we are always sipping on our coffee here on your day because it's called survival. Oh, Alex is taking a break from coffee. Anyways, Nick and I are enjoying our coffee.
I'm sorry. Yeah, today is National Joe Day. So how do you take your cup of joe? And fun fact, cup of joe comes from the term Joe, which used to be commonplace for the working man. So a cup that the working man drinks.
And we are working men and women here on your day.
Speak for yourself. I don't work.
No, that's pretty obvious. No, just kidding. So on my cup of coffee every day, I do 32 ounces. I don't start drinking my coffee until about 6.
Smart.
But it is pure Colombian. Liz right. With Italian sweet cream is generally my creamer of choice.
Nice.
I really can drink any cup of coffee and be happy, but my go-to is typically iced coffee with lots of sugar and peppermint.
Now, do you do iced coffee all year?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
It's always good.
Goes down smoother.
Yeah, that's always a battle. I go protein powder and this one with milk, but that's because I need protein powder and it just makes the coffee in there taste better. At home, it's a latte. Like, it's just make my own.
Yeah, well, we have prison coffee here. Max?
I've always just drank mine black. It has to be a good, bean, a good roast. Otherwise, the coffee we have here is not as enjoyable black. But that being said, I'm not against adding some cream or sugar, because it's still fun.
I've always been a big proponent of putting our station coffee on blast because it's terrible.
Yeah.
That's why I always bring my own.
Well, we have an espresso machine.
We do have an espresso machine. Thank you very much to our
Yes.
bosses for that. But the regular
need
coffee
more.
could use a little work. Our time right now is 6:52. The ACLU now suing Ohio over a law banning puberty blockers for transgender minors. Coming up, the deadline they're fighting and why they say the law puts kids at risks.
You're watching Your Day.